It is time for Political Breakfast. Here live this morning, our strategist Brian Robinson and Tharon Johnson. Live due to some news that broke late yesterday afternoon, hours after we taped our weekly podcast. And that news being Governor Brian Kemp will not run for Senate. Brian, Tharon, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to
Lisa.
you. Brian, you first. This is really not news to you, right? All along you said he showed no interest in the role, a role that he would likely find boring. However, what was your initial reaction?
I felt vindicated because I've been saying on Political Breakfast since his reelect in 2022 that he would have no interest in this job. He's got the best job in Georgia politics, one of the most powerful governors in the country, great public housing on West Paces Ferry, your own security detail. You get none of that in the U.S. Senate. And Kemp is able to get things done every day of his life in the governor's office. And to transition from that to a body that passes 20 bills a year would just be drudgery for him. And look, does he really want to go into the 2026 political environment, which we don't know what it's going to be like? He is the odds-on favorite. He's the best candidate for Republicans, no doubt about it. But this is a purple state, and it could be a really tough environment next year.
Tharon, what do you think about that? Polling showed that Governor Kemp would likely be Senator Ossoff's toughest competitor. Did the news yesterday trigger a sigh of relief among Democrats?
Well, many of us were planning to celebrate Cinco de Mayo, and there was going to be some tequila shots. But definitely, I think that there were some Republicans and Democrats taking some tequila shots yesterday to celebrate Cinco de Mayo. I think the Republicans that were celebrating were those who were interested in running for U.S. Senate. It was very clear that Governor Kemp would have been very, very difficult to beat. He would have been the nominee had he decided. Democrats, we're now happy because we know the Republicans are going to basically go further and further to the right as far as trying to win a Republican primary in the U.S. Senate. And I think that some of the names that I'm hearing thus far, Lisa, are very, very radical right MAGA kind of Republicans. And I think the state of Georgia is moving away from that. The last thing I'll say is this, but, this was very honorable of Governor Brian Kemp to do. B-Rob has been saying for a long time that he was not going to run. I mean, sometimes he would kind of waffle and give a good analysis, but ultimately he's fair. Happy that he didn't run because now he comes back on Political Breakfast podcast and takes another W sort of around. But for him to get out this soon, Lisa, and with a primary coming up in May, qualifying in March of next year, to give the Republicans an opportunity to regroup. I mean, he could have waited a long time to make this decision. So This is a very honorable thing for the governor.
He is the ultimate politician, right? The statement from Kemp, I have decided that being on the ballot next year is not the right decision for me and my family. So what then is next for Kemp, do you think?
There's a lot of rumors going around that he is eyeing the presidency of our shared alma mater, the University of Georgia. That would be a surprise to me, but I hear it so much. It's got to have been said at some juncture. Jerry Moorhead's been there nearly 15 years. So maybe he's looking at retirement. But I think what he's going to do is going to make a lot of money because he's chairman of the Republican Governors Association. For the next 4 years, every Republican governor in the country will take his phone call and let a client in. So he has a chance to go make generational wealth, set himself up, and that gives him the liberty to then consider running for president in 2028.
So, Tharon, what happens in Democratic corners now that we know Kemp is not running?
Well, we'll remind our listeners, we had Senator Jon Ossoff on last week, and he reminded B-Rob that the pool was open. He said, come on and jump in, right? So now we know that Brian Kemp is not jumping in. Ossoff and the Democrats will continue doing what we've been doing. That is telling the truth about this economy, telling the truth about this failed presidency. And more importantly, he will continue to work with any and everybody that needs help in Georgia. He spent an enormous amount of time working both sides of the aisle all across the state of Georgia. And at a time where we have these inflationary tariffs, the economy is going in the wrong direction. We got a new leader of the Democratic Party of Georgia with Charlie Bailey. Lisa, we must nominate a person, he or she, to be the gubernatorial candidate that can actually appeal to the moderate Republican that are out there, and then also motivate the base plus strategy within the Democratic coalition. So now we turn our sights to who is going to be the nominees on the other ticket. But we're very happy and united around Jon Ossoff.
So, Brian, let me ask you. So if not Kemp running for Senate, who?
Yeah, well, let me echo some of what he said, but from the Republican perspective, we too must nominate people who can attract and hold the deciders, the people that I call the deciders, those folks perhaps who voted for Kemp and then for Raphael Warnock in 2022. Those folks will again be decisive in 2026. So that's something Republican voters must consider when they go to the polls next year. There are numerous members of Congress, Buddy Carter, Mike Collins, Marjorie Taylor Greene, who I don't think will do it. Brad Raffensperger is in that mix. Insurance Commissioner John King. State Senator Greg Dolezal has begun to float his name in those discussions too. So it could end up being a fairly big field. And some folks who perhaps are looking at a lieutenant governor's race might see this as a better opportunity.
Any last words, Tharon?
Lisa, we forgot one name. And I know Big Rob knows who I'm about to say. First Lady Marty Kemp is going to determine the family's future. I said that it really depended on when she wanted to go to Washington. I think B. Rob is right. The governor will make some money, and I will not be shocked if he's a presidential candidate in 2028.
I agree with that.
Strategist Tharon Johnson and Brian Robinson, thank you so much for checking in. We'll talk soon.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Amplifying Atlanta, this is listener-funded WABE Atlanta.